Hey, it's me again, Batsirai. Here to say thank you for 30,000 impressions on LinkedIn and 16,000 accounts reached. Thank you for supporting the concept of what happens when AI skills solve real-world problems. Now Tyra will take you through how I was engineered. Over to you, Tyra.
Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Tyra, and on this channel I'll be posting demos and behind the scenes of projects I'm building. Today, like I promised, I'm going to show you the architecture behind Batsirai, an AI customer service agent which I built for Net1. I'll also talk about languages. I'm sure some people tried to talk to Batsirai in Shona and it responded back in English. Shona on the bele. I will talk about that and the limitations and the problems that still exist in that area. Lastly, I'll also show you the tool which I used, which enabled phone call interactions with Batsirai. I'm sure everyone is like curious about that, as I'll show you the secret formula. You'll actually be surprised. It's a pretty simple tool, so please stay to the end of this video. But before I get into all that, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for 20,000 post impressions on LinkedIn. By the time I'm recording this, I'm sure by now it's more than that. So thank you to everyone who shared, everyone who reposted, everyone who commented. It means a lot to me because you have no idea how much I had to debate myself whether I should post this or not. I kept thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong. I thought, but I finally gathered the courage and to see the support that the project has gained. It's so overwhelming. Thank you. And by the way, the post also got close to 500 views on YouTube. By the time I'm recording this, I'm sure it's continuously growing, but considering how difficult YouTube is and the fact that I just started this channel for fun. Like if you go back to the first post I actually made, that was actually a school presentation, and I just put it out there because I thought, what if someone asks to see projects I've built? What do I show them? Because most of my projects I can't put them on Git, so I just uploaded it, and it's actually a funny video. But to see what is happening now, I'm beginning to think maybe there could be potential here. Like there could be potential for growth. So we never know. So the only favor I'll be asking for today is that you subscribe to the channel, because who knows? Who knows? This could actually grow into something. Okay, so now let's get into how I built Batsirai. And let me say this is not a tutorial. I'll just walk you through step by step which tool I used and why I used it. I'm sure you can find some good tutorials on each of the technologies which I'll mention. And please note that what I'll be showing you is what I had in design, because in the implementation phase, I had to limit some features because I didn't want to go beyond my budget, which was $0. And I'm glad I did. So everything that you saw, everything that you had was within that budget. And I'm glad I managed to put something and everything that's there is for demos purposes. And everything stayed within that budget. So I'm good. Firstly, this whole project is built, hosted, deployed everything inside Google Cloud. So why Google Cloud? Well, because I think cloud computing is amazing, like in general. I know everyone is talking about AI. I also talk about AI a lot. But to some extent, it's like we are beginning to forget other cool technologies that exist in this era, like cloud computing. And I'm not only saying this because I have a degree in cloud computing, but also because cloud allows you to build fast and to build at scale. Cloud computing is actually the infrastructure which is allowing AI to move at the speed at which it's moving. And then why specifically Google Cloud? On that, I think I'll need to make another post explaining which one is the best between AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure. And I'll also talk about my personal preference and why between those big three. Now, let me break down each tool that I used. Please keep in mind that all these are inside Google Cloud. So, number one is Dialogflow. Why Dialogflow? Because it works. And it works well, especially for business related use cases. But we don't want any chit chat, but we simply want to understand what the customer wants and then act on it. I know these days everyone is occupied with LLMs, the GPT-4, GPT-5, that we are forgetting that these NLP and NLUs are also AI models. But I also talk about LLMs later and why and where I chose to use them in the project. Number two is cloud functions. Why cloud functions? Because it is automatically connected to Dialogflow in fulfillment. So there's no need for complicated configurations. It's directly connected. And I wrote the functions with Python. So these days I'm training myself to write in Python a lot because I think Python is the programming language of the era. It's okay. We can disagree on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. And these functions act as the decision making engine or the action executor. So what happens is Dialogflow understands the language and understands what the customer wants, what the user wants, and then the functions they then execute that task. Right. We move on to number three, which is Cloud SQL. Why Cloud SQL? Well, because Cloud SQL is a managed database service, and there I had to make an assumption that Net1 has a central database which contains all their clients' data. And this is because if you call their call center, usually the agent will say, okay, let me look up, let me check, like what's your balance and stuff. So my technical mind just knew that, okay, they might be looking at a platform, but behind that platform, there is a database which contains all that data. So I created a database in Cloud SQL to act as that database where data is and information is fetched from. All right, then we move on to number four, which is Gemini 1.5 Pro. Now, why Gemini 1.5 Pro? Well, because I wanted it to act as a fallback to Dialogflow. So Dialogflow is good with intent recognition, but it forms pretty bad when a user says something that is not trainable. So I wanted LLM, the Gemini 1.5 Pro, to act as the fallback and catch all those phrases that Dialogflow fails to understand. And also because Gemini 1.5 Pro is also a multilingual model which supports more than 100 African languages. And at this point, let me talk about languages because of all the 100 languages that I mentioned, Shona and Ndebele are not included, right? But I do know that there are other models that do support Shona and some little bit of Ndebele, like the XLMR or the MBERT. But the challenge that still remains is that this model, they cannot perform both text and speech input and output. So I think that is also the same challenge that Econes Violet hit as well with the Yamurai. Because if you try to talk to Yamurai and Shona, they will redirect you to a human agent. I think this is the same problem that they hit. And generally, I think it's an opportunity for us local developers to step in and solve this problem. So I'm calling out collaborators, anyone who might be interested in building our very own native Shona and Ndebele NLP model. If you think that's cool, please hit me up. Let me know. I think that would be cool. Okay, so this is what the whole architecture looks like. So we have our user our user sends a request to Dialogflow. Then Dialogflow recognizes what the user is trying to do, what they're trying to say, right? The intent. And then after it's recognized, it goes to the fulfillment functions, which we have written in Python. And then from the fulfillment functions then decide what is to be executed. And then from there, it goes to our Cloud SQL, where our database is sitting. Basically, this is, let's say, in full implementation, right? If Net1 actually wants to implement this, this is the part where their tech stack comes in. This is just an assumption that I did, that for basics, we have a database. So this is where our functions go and execute the task or the request that has come from the user, right? And then it goes back to the fulfillment functions. It goes back to the Dialogflow. It goes back to the user. The user is told, "Oh, we have fixed your count," whatever that they had requested to be done. They get their feedback, right? And then for an instance where a request comes from the user to Dialogflow to the fulfillment, but then Dialogflow fails to understand what the user wants, it goes to Gemini 1.5 Pro, which is our LLM, and then it decides what is to be done, and then it goes back to the functions, and then the functions execute the task. So that is basically how this whole architecture is structured. And then for that tool which I used, which allowed phone call interactions, it's actually a service inside Dialogflow, which is called Dialogflow Phone Gateway. They say that it's in beta, but man, this service is good. I don't know why they're still keeping it in beta. It's actually production ready. It works perfectly fine. There are other tools you can try, like Avaya, audio calls, but personally for me, it works perfectly fine. Maybe the thing that I just don't like about it is that since it's for free, it's only the number you get is only valid for like 30 days. After that, you have to renew, get a new one. But if you like, you can pay for a permanent number. But other than that, everything is perfect. So that was it. If this architecture inspires you to build something, please take me or whatever you build. And that's it for today. Please subscribe. Actually, if this channel continues to grow the way it's growing, I'll commit to making better videos. So please subscribe. Till next time.